Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Legend of the Miami Heat Live. I'm your host, Rawchild. Tonight, we're going to recap the game versus the Houston Rockets. So, going into the game, the headlines were that the Heat lost to the Hawks last night, and they were in the game, and they came back on a nice run at the end of the game to get it to within 1 point, and then the Hawks just flew away with the game at the end and won by 10. So the same news that Jimmy Butler isn't traveling on his trip is still the same. And Pat Riley, same news, says we're not trading Jimmy Butler. Before we go any further, make sure you follow and subscribe on Instagram, X, Threads, and Twitch at IraStill4. Follow on TikTok, Discord, and Kick at Rawchild4. If you haven't downloaded Discord, make sure you do and send me a friend request at Rawchild4. I'll send you a link to the group. Also, follow on YouTube and make sure you subscribe at IraStill_IV. All right, so as everybody knows by now, look out for the game notes on game day. If you're interested in more detail, make sure you follow and subscribe on IraStill4 at X Threads and on Discord, Legend of the Miami Heat. And I always post the game notes. They're very detail-oriented game notes. They're the notes that the broadcasters use, and they have a lot of projections and statistics. It's really cool. Make sure you check that out. All right, there's a podcast from the guys at 5 on the Floor titled Hawks Pull Away from Miami Heat in the Game and in Standings. And make sure you listen to that podcast either on 5 on the Floor, 5 Reasons Sports, or wherever you find 5 Reasons podcast. And you can also find that on my page at IraStill4 on X and Threads, and also on Discord, Legend of the Miami Heat. Make sure you listen to that podcast. It's a good listen. All right, so they're wrapping this road trip. It was a 3-game road trip. They're wrapping it up in Houston, and at this point, they're 1-1. If they could get a win, that would be great. They really need it. So for everybody following, everybody new here, I set the table so the game is at your fingertips. What I mean by that is I link everything on my media profile that all you need to do is just click the link, and the game is right there. So I feature the Odyssey app. It's always free. Make sure you go download the Odyssey app, and you can listen to local radio, podcast, everything. And I feature the Miami Sports Radio on my pages. You can find it. It's still active. Best thing about Odyssey, you can rewind it and listen to it later. It's still active. All right? So you do have to download Odyssey app, and it's always free. But make sure you subscribe to my channel because I always link the game, the pregame, the actual game itself, and the postgame. I always link on my profile so you can listen to the game, no matter where you are. Make sure you get in tune with that, all right? All right, finishing up the road trip in Houston, the Rockets have a high-scoring Alperen Sengun at 19 points and 10.6 rebounds, and he's healthy tonight. They also have veteran Dylan Brooks available, who brings the Rockets a defensive edge. And those two are the player spotlight heading into the game. So the Heat, they're really focusing on stopping the Houston Rockets' high-power rebounding. They're the number 1 rebounding team in the league. And the Heat really need to focus on stopping that. Let's see if they can. Ira Winderman tweets it, with Duncan Robinson out and Jimmy Butler away from the team for a 5th consecutive game. The Heat are opening tonight with the lineup of Bam Adebayo, Kevin Love is back, Tyler Hero, Haywood Highsmith, and Terry Rozier. And it's Terry Rozier's first start since being moved to the bench on November 26th against the Bucks. After starting in his first 12 games, and now it's Kevin Love's first action in 5 games. So let's get it. Heat versus Houston is the last game of 2024, and now it's underway. And the Rockets, they started on an 8-0 run, and it looked like the Heat were going to have a slow, sloppy, another probably loss. But then they start picking it up. And every starter scored. They were up 16-12, and they're getting everybody into it. But at first it was like, what are you doing? They're down 8-0, and then they bounce back. So that's good. Ira Winderman tweets, Kevin Love versus Steven Adams? What decade is this? A start of the last 3 games, Jaime Jaquez Jr. enters as the Heat's first reserve off the bench. So they're playing with Jaime Jaquez on and off the bench, trying to find him a role. And Alec Burks, who has become a rotation player amid Jimmy Butler's absence, is making it 9 players deep for the Heat. So it's a little bit more than you want in the rotation, but you'll take it. The Heat need as much help as they can get. So, Tyler, you got to vote for our guys. You can go and vote on NBA.com or MiamiHeat.com for our All-Stars. Some days they count 2 times, and some days they count 3 times. All right, so make sure you go and vote for our guys to make this All-Star game. You can vote up until late January. Make sure you get your votes in because the fan vote counts a lot. All right, so Tyler Hero, he's having an All-Star season. We got to get him in the All-Star game. At the end of the first quarter, the Heat turn it around and they're up 31-27 after 1. And Hero's playing consistent, 7 points and 3 assists, holding the Heat in the game. He were up 4 after the first quarter. And they kept it going into the second quarter. They're starting to play like they have a little confidence. And the guys that the Heat have, they got guys that should step in and play pretty good. I mean, they got guys that they got a good core. They're resilient. They just need to become more consistent and better finishers. But they're out there and they're competing against the top rebounding team. And it doesn't look like there's any discrepancy between both teams. The Heat, they're really up there competing at the high level, and they're looking good. The Heat were up 48-45 with 3 minutes left in the second quarter, and the Heat, they're out running the fast break. The Heat go into the halftime up 53-50. And Rozier, he was on a burner after getting his first start in a little over a month. He had 12 points in the first half. Looking good, looking great. Cooper Moorhead, he's the writer for the Heat. Make sure you follow him on X and wherever else he is at Coop NBA. He's the writer for the Heat, so you can find his work on MiamiHeat.com or Miami Heat on X and Threads and wherever you find Miami Heat. He's their writer. And what he says is all the things considered on a back-to-back against a good team, that's one of the better, more complete halves the Heat have played in a while as far as playing to the identity they want to play with and getting contributions across the rotation. And being detail-oriented, I challenge him. And I challenge him to let's see that all 4 quarters. And that this team has a habit of not being consistent enough. Really want to see it. You got to work hard over long periods of time. Nothing good happens overnight, all right? So I want to see them do it all, the whole game. 48 minutes, not 32. So at halftime, the Heat are up 53-50. We're going to take a quick break, and then we're back. And in the third quarter, it seemed like the Heat, they came out really slow. They came out asleep. The things that we're talking about. We need to see consistency. Don't get hyped up over one half. And then here you go. You see the Heat, they have tendencies to have a crappy third quarter. They've been trying to work that out, but they still have tendency to go crappy. And the Rockets, they came out in the third quarter, they were exploding. They started on a 14-2 third quarter start, and Spoelstra's calling timeout. So they had to make some adjustments, and it looked like, Eric Spoelstra is kind of slow to put in his rookies like Khalil Ware, the big 7-foot guy. But tonight he came in and he was really making an impact. He was making an impact playing tall, not big, but tall. He was getting in there. He's getting rebounds. He's scoring a little bit. He's impacting the game. He's hitting some shots, just what the Heat need. And Five Reasons Sports, they tweet that they like the way that Tyler Hero is looking for Khalil Ware, our rookie. And Tyler Hero's looking out for him and he sees him, okay? And they like that. And you always need to stay ready when you're on the court because you never know when Tyler's going to find you with the pass and you're going to be open for a dunk. Heat Nation. Five Reasons Sports tweets, at this point, let's see as much of Ware, Jovic, and Hero together as possible. They're building chemistry, and they look good out there. Tyler Hero's getting a lot of attention out there, double teams, and somebody's open. If he could get it to Nico, and Nico could get it into Khalil Ware playing tall, you got something there. So that's what they were doing tonight. And they were finding each other, and it looked good. Trevor Windeman tweets that the Heat were down 12 points in the third quarter because of that run, the Rockets run that came out, and they were exploding in the third quarter. But the Heat, they worked their way through it, and they go into the fourth quarter 82-81. And Tyler Hero had 21 points going into the fourth. So they snapped back. They went down and they snapped back. And it was just Five Reasons Sports. They tweet. They do a lot of tweeting, but they tweet strong response by the Heat late in the third quarter, led by Tyler Hero, Niko Jovic, and Khalil Ware. They're down one, not up one. They're down one going into the fourth. So they're down one, 82-81 going into the fourth. And all of the focus is in the fourth quarter. Five Reasons Sports tweets, this game may be lost waiting to get Hero back in. So Spoelstra, he has to rest Tyler Hero at some point. And you don't want to see a big drop-off when your star goes out. But they were kind of letting the Rockets come back into it and establish again. And then, the Heat, they're making plays. Tyler Hero's out, and then on cue, Terry Rozier's throwing it out of bounds and making bad plays. He's making bad plays sometimes out there in the starting role. Terry Rozier in the second half, he had a bad second half. We're not gonna trash him for his bad second half, but Terry Rozier, he had a really bad second half. He was missing so many shots that they went 1 for 7 in the second half, and the whole game was 0 for 8. You should change his name to Ofer because he can't make a shot. Ofer Rozier. That's his new name, Ofer. And there's a timeout on the floor. And the Heat, they're down by 5. 92-87 with 6 minutes left in the game. The Rockets, they look like they're just going to end the game. They're in transition. They're hitting threes. They're spreading the ball around. They're getting the rebounds. The Heat, they're playing right there, but it's like, okay, the Rockets go up by 5. Now it's the Heat's time either to fold or to match them. And at that point, with 6 minutes left, Tyler was running it with 23 points. So then we were talking about heroes on the bench, and they start just like making turnovers, and it's like everything fumbles. Well, they put Hero back in with Jovic, and then the Heat go on a run. The Heat end up going on a run late in the game. They go on a 13-2 run, and they go up 98-94 late in the fourth quarter. And Nico with a dagger 3. Tyler Hero had the ball, and they double teamed him, and they got the ball to, I guess it was Terry, and Terry threw it out to Nico, and Nico was wide open for 3 and drained it off the court. See ya. How dare you, Nico? And then immediately, with 37 seconds left in the game, out of nowhere, there's a brawl on the court. All of a sudden, you see Tyler Hero and Amen Thompson engaged on the court, and Amen Thompson takes Tyler Hero and throws him onto the floor head first. And then both benches, they get off the bench. Terry Rozier's on the sideline. He tackles Amen Thompson. The head coaches are out there. They're being restrained. They're being held back by security people on both sides. It's like maybe 40 people are on the court now, and they're all trying to see what happened with this scrum. So it looked like Tyler Hero was hurt for a second, but no, he wasn't. And the Heat, they're starting to restrain everybody. They have their security out there restraining each other. And Hero got thrown hard to the floor. I'm telling you, he got thrown hard. And the Rockets, they're being restrained. And their coach is being restrained. And then double tech, their coach is thrown out. Both coaches for the Rockets are thrown out. Their head coach, Ime and their assistant coach thrown out. And then Houston, they ejected Amen Thompson and Green. They ejected them. And for Miami, they ejected Tyler Hero and Terry Rozier. That was out of nowhere, and it was a crazy play. And that was like after the Heat went on that 13-2 run, that broke the Rockets' back. And then it just got physical and chippy. And you can't lose your composure like that ever. It's just a game. So people are saying, why was Tyler Hero ejected? For being a part of it? We'll never know. But the Heat win 104-100, and they end 2024 with a dub. And we tell Houston, watch out for the chancleta, the shoe. So ejected from the Heat and Rockets were head coach Ime Udoka, guard Amen Thompson, guard Jalen Green, guard Tyler Hero, guard Terry Rozier. Fred VanVleet was ejected prior. Fred VanVleet for the Rockets got 2 technicals maybe a few minutes before the brawl, and he was ejected first. And then their assistant coach, whoever, we don't know who he is, Ben Sullivan, was ejected. And the things, they got heated between Tyler Hero and Amen Thompson in the final seconds of the Heat Rockets game, but you can't do that. Now, Cooper Moorhead of the Heat, he's their beat writer. We talked about that. You can find his work on MiamiHeat.com, wherever you find Miami Heat. You can find it on Coop NBA on Twitter. You can find it on my page at IraStill4 on X and Threads, and on Discord, Legend of the Miami Heat. He tweets, there's clearly more dramatic stuff from that one, and you don't win it without Tyler. But Houston had just 12 points in the fourth quarter. And they spent at least half that time going to Haywood Highsmith and Bam Adebayo in the pick and roll. And that gave their offense a flat tire. The 12 points that they had were before the late 2 threes that the Heat hit when things were like over. He win 104-100. Hero, 27 points, 3 threes, 9 assists, 6 rebounds. Jovic, 18 points, 3 threes, 7 rebounds, 6 assists. Highsmith, 15 points, 3 threes, 8 rebounds, 3 steals. Rozier, 14 points and 5 rebounds. Adebayo, 12 points, 10 rebounds, and 3 steals. And Nico, at the end of the game, they interviewed Nico, and he said, I'm not letting anybody throw my guy to the ground. I'm not going to let him throw him around. And Nico had that and more to say about Hero. He said, go vote him in to the All-Star game. He needs to be an All-Star. 5 Recent Sports tweets, the Heat beat a good team tonight on the road on the second night of a back-to-back with 3 starters, Bam, Love, and Rozier. 11 for 38, and Butler and Duncan out. It was like resilient to the highest power of resiliency. The guys that you consider they're going to shoot 38 shots and you only make 11 of them? Come on. And then your top 2 offensive players other than Hero are out. It's like, man. And it was the best win of the season. Cooper Moorhead, we talked about it, where you can find everything. He tweets again. The Houston Rockets ran 38 pick and rolls at Bam Adebayo. That's a season high for any team, including a season high 15 screens in the fourth quarter. And Houston only scored .41 points per on those actions versus Bam and .22 in the fourth quarter, whatever that means. Brady Hawk tweets, Terry Rozier on sticking up for Tyler Hero. We got to protect all our guys, but definitely Tyler at all cost. I got a lot of love for Tyler. Just a great dude. We got to protect him. It's a natural instinct. I agree. And 5 Recent Sports tweets that Eric Spoelstra will be privately thrilled about the skirmish. They also tweet that Terry Rozier sequence will probably be reviewed by the NBA for sure. And that Nico, he's bout it. Nico is bout it, baby. Brady Hawk tweets again. Tyler Hero said, I guess that what happens when someone is scoring, throwing down, doing the whole thing. I get mad too. I guess I get mad too because Tyler was balling out and Amen Thompson couldn't guard Tyler, and that's probably why I got frustrated and threw him. Because Tyler Hero was just draining shots and opening the game and getting the ball to Nico and putting the ball in the hoop. I'd be mad too. At the end of the game, head coach Ime Udoka, who got ejected, says they were in each other's faces, bumping chests a little. One guy's is stronger than the other. Ime Udoka on the altercation between Amen Thompson and Tyler Hero during the Rockets Heat game was okay. Ira Winderman tweets, per referee Mark Davis, Hero responds, and they are both ejected for fighting fouls. Rozier as well is ejected as his actions were escalators to the altercation. Such verbiage indicates more could be coming. That our guys, Hero and Rozier, they were ejected, but they could be suspended for the altercation, whatever. The league's trying to crack down on it. We'll see what happens. But make sure you guys read Coop's takeaways on MiamiHeat.com or Miami Heat on Twitter or wherever you find their articles. You can also read Cooper NBA, his articles at Coop NBA on Twitter and also on my page at IraStill4 on Twitter and Threads and also on Discord, Legend of the Miami Heat. And you can read his takeaways from tonight's win. It was a gutted, gritty win on the second night of a back-to-back behind Tyler, Nico, and Haywood. All right. Now, we're going to get into some extracurricular activities to end this last podcast of 2024. And we're going to start that by doing our stock up. Miami Heat stock up. After this Houston game, stock up goes to Tyler Hero. He had a pretty big game. He was pacing the Heat. Stock up goes to Niko Jovic. It goes to Niko Jovic. He was playing a good game tonight. Stock up goes to Haywood Highsmith. It does. And stock up to Kel'el Ware. Rookie Kel'el Ware. Kel'el up there. Stock up. Hero, Jovic, Highsmith, and Ware. All right. Hesitation dribble. Now we're going to do our player power rankings. You guys remember last night for the Hawks game, we did our player power rankings, and we started our player power rankings off last night. We're going to continue it, and we revealed our top 5 players for the Hawks game. You could go and find that in my previous podcast, but tonight we're going to do our player rankings, our top 5 players, and they've changed a little bit. At the number 5 spot, our 5th best player for the Miami Heat in the game versus the Houston Rockets goes to Bam Adebayo. 12 points, 10 rebounds, and 3 steals. Our 4th spot on our player power rankings versus the Houston Rockets goes to Terry Rozier. 14 points and 5 rebounds. Our 3rd spot, Miami Heat player rankings. Miami Heat player power rankings goes to Haywood Highsmith, 15 points, 8 rebounds, and 3 steals. Number 2 spot on our Miami Heat player power rankings go to Niko Jovic. They do. 18 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists. He almost had a triple-double. And our number 1 spot goes to Tyler Hero, 27 points, 9 assists, 6 rebounds. And those are our player power rankings against the Houston Rockets. Now it's time to give out game stars. Game stars against the Houston Rockets for the Miami Heat. Tyler Hero, 27 points, 9 assists, 6 rebounds. Niko Jovic, 18 points, 7 rebounds, 6 assists. Game star for Niko Jovic. Game star for Haywood Highsmith, 15 points, 8 rebounds, 3 steals. Game star for Haywood Highsmith. Last game star goes to rookie Kel'el Ware. Game star, 7 points, 7 rebounds, 2 assists, making an impact into winning. Those are our game stars. Hero, Jovic, Highsmith, Ware. You got any questions?